Hello, my name is Cindy. Thank you so much for joining me here at Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I'm delighted to have you. You will be seeing this on September 20th. So I'm recording this a day early, but there's a lot going on today on Tuesday. You've got I believe it's a meeting with the special master is going on, and the appeals court apparently has given both parties, or actually Trump's lawyers, until Tuesday to file their reason, why the appeals court should not take up the case that DOJ is appealing the ruling of Judge Cannon. So lots going on. All right, I'm going to do a little of this and that today. Hopefully I'm going to be able to keep this down to sort of shorter mini reads, okay? I want to look at the appeals court. I want to look at Lindsey Graham and what's with he all of a sudden with 15-week national abortion bans. I'm going to take a look at Texas, man. I want to look at Beto and Abbott. And I want to take a look at DeSantis and the stunt he pulled with the migrants. I don't know that that's going to actually end up working, but apparently a lot of people cheered for him at an event that he was most recently at. So, mixed bag. All right, let's start with the appeals court. Before I get started, thank you. Welcome to my new subscribers. It's absolutely lovely to see you. I'm slowly inching my way up to the 10,000 point mark. But the thing is this channel has grown slowly, but I absolutely love the energy of this channel. We are, positive. We are inclusive. We don't snap and snarl at people in the comment section. So for all my new subscribers, thank you so much. Welcome. And of course, my established ones, I just adore you. So thank you. Okay. Appeals court. Let's take a look at this. I got cards flying already. Okay. Here we go. Appeals court. I do have my pendulum here. So we're going to ask a couple kind of yes/no questions, and then we'll cut the deck. Here we go with my pendulum. Okay, so for those of you who are new, when the pendulum goes side to side like that, it is telling me it is ready to talk. I am protected, and I have reached the highest level of information. Pendulum, please show me yes. And you will see the pendulum shifts to a back and forth motion. Pendulum, show me no. And it goes around and round. You will notice a slight vibration in my hand. That's because the pendulum chain is very, very short, and it's energy that moves it. And so there you go. You will also notice that very often the pendulum will start answering a question before I have finished answering it. It's not uncommon because the pendulum sort of reads my mind, if you will. I mean, I ask the pendulum questions all the time in my personal life, and I don't say them out loud. It's just like a mental question and answer. So, and this pendulum and I are very, very connected. It responds incredibly well. Here we go. Pendulum. The appeals court has taken the appeal, and they are moving very, very quickly on this. Are they going to appeal the decision? Are they going to grant the stay that the Department of Justice is seeking? Yes, they are. Okay, so then that was for the 100 sort of confidential, top secret documents. Is the special master, is that review going to go ahead on the other documents? And that's a yes. And are there any documents that belong to the National Archives that for whatever reason are going to be deemed Donald Trump's personal, private property. No. Wow, that's a bit of a kick in the head, eh? I mean, poor little Donnie, he not only isn't going to go well with this thing, but he has to pay the special master too. So that just sucks all the way around for him. Poor guy, couldn't happen to a better fella. All righty, there we go. My cards are obviously anxious to talk because they're flying all over the place today. All right, let's take a look quick at the appeals court situation. Okay. Insight, 11th Circuit appeal. Insight, 11th Circuit appeal. Insight, 11th Circuit appeal. What can we find out about that? Let's find out. Okay. So it's really interesting because we're starting off with the Three of Swords, the Moon, and the Nine of Swords. And so these cards are sort of telling an interesting story. The Three of Hearts is talking actually about the rulings that have gone against the Department of Justice that make absolutely no logical sense. I have to tell you, it feels very, very much like Canon is almost purposely issuing orders and opinions and rulings that are begging for an appeals court to step in. And I actually think that there's some strategy involved in this. I think that she is really, really just trying to figure out how to get this dang thing off of her desk. She doesn't want to be in this party anymore, as in the party of the legal nonsense that's going on, because she realizes that it is well and truly going to destroy her. And it doesn't matter that Republicans, by and large, are supporting her and these wackamamie, rulings that she's issuing. But from a perfectly strategic point of view, it feels very, very much like she just wants this thing off her docket. Now, I believe that she has the belief structure that would allow her to, more likely side with the Trump legal team. But there's also stuff that is being hidden from view with regards to a lot of stuff that's going on. The Department of Justice has a lot of information that has still been shrouded, as it should be. And the Trump team is playing smoke and mirrors. Okay, they're trying to delay. They're doing everything they can to just sort of keep um, everything at bay, because of course the only strategy they can possibly have is delay, because they don't have any kind of a defense. So this is sort of talking about almost the situation that we're in, followed by the Wheel of Fortune, the Devil, and the Two of Wands. So the Wheel of Fortune talks about a change of luck. It talks about good fortune coming through. It talks about that which is being backwards, it will be pushed forwards. So often, I don't know, for those of you who are new, maybe you haven't heard me say this, but if you look at the word evil and spell it backwards, it's live. And if you look at the word devil and you spell it backwards, it is lived. So I often say that the devil card represents something being done backwards, right? Against the light, against the highest good. And so it feels very much as if there's going to be a significant shift. And the delay that he keeps trying to accomplish is not going to actually work for him. The Wheel of Fortune is going to smile on the Department of Justice and their rulings. And listen, do not be surprised if they try another delay tactic and if they ultimately don't take it up to the Supreme Court. That is not going to work for them. Okay. Um, I know that there's a bunch of real staunch Republican justices at the Supreme Court, but I got to tell you, I think when it comes right down to it, they are not going to want to see um, kind of the nonsense that's going on right now taking root. And certainly, I think after the debacle of the overturning the Roe versus Wade decision, I think that sorry, I mixed that up. But I think after that, you're going to have some more rational and typical responses to, a former kind of president guy wanting to claim executive privilege after he's left office. This is just all nonsense. And so I think it's going to go to the Supreme Court. I don't think it's going to serve Trump well to have pushed it that far. Also, there's some new talk out about that lawyer that he paid like that $3 million or $2 million retainer to. Um, there's and I only caught a glimpse of it, so I'm sorry because I'm sort of not sure of all the details. But only a couple of years ago, apparently, he was registered as a foreign agent to sort of, I think it was a dictatorship like country. So, what the heck? What is going on there? Okay, Lindsey Graham, what is his story? Oh my God, this poor guy. It goes from bad to worse for him, right? I mean, first of all, the rulings went against him in terms of him. No, you have to show up and you have to talk to the grand jury in Georgia, buddy. That's just how it works. So that didn't work out well for him. So he's got to go talk to the grand jury. Um, then he decides, I don't know what was going on in that brain of his, but then he decides he's going to suggest a 15-week national abortion ban. Well, that did not fly with anybody. It it angered people on the pro-choice side, and it, I think, infuriated people on the pro-life side because the Republicans want this issue to stop. They just want everybody to stop talking about it because it's so bad for them. And there is Lindsey Graham shoving himself into the spotlight. Sorry about that. That was actually a phone call that I was really waiting for. So, anyways, I apologize for that interruption. Um, So Lindsey Graham. So the Republicans just want the whole thing to be quiet, and people continue to just get wound up about this. They continue to push to have this issue put on the local ballots, and there he comes. And let's just add some high test to the already inferno that is the Republican Party. I don't know what on earth he was thinking there, but whatever it is. So I was going to take a quick look and see if we can get some insight into what is going on with this guy. Now, he's not up for re-election, I'm positive. I think he got re-elected in 2020. So I don't know who he's trying to score points with. Let's find out if we can, shall we? Here we go. Insight into Lindsey Graham, insight into Lindsey Graham, insight into Lindsey Graham. Boy. Okay. So starting off with the Four Swords. So I want to say it feels a little bit like he is becoming more and more desperate. He's very busy trying to change the narrative. He keeps wanting to change the subject because all the news that's floating around about him is not good, and he doesn't like it, and he's very uncomfortable because he is afraid that there are things that are going to come out that he would just frankly prefer not come out. And so he is, kind of trying to figure out how to just keep changing that narrative. And all he's doing is he's really, really upsetting and aggravating the people in his own party, not to mention, as I said, everybody else on the other side of the aisle. I'm not exactly sure with this Four of Swords if he may not be having some sort of a health concern or a sort of I almost want to call it like an identity crisis. It's like it feels as if almost mentally he's really, really spiraling. And of course, you've got, the Seven of Cups card here about confusion. And I'm wondering if there's not something going on with him. I got to tell you, it doesn't really feel um, physical. It feels a little bit more mental, like he's just sort of really struggling to figure out how to right this very, very rocky ship that he has created by his own intentions and actions. So, how much sympathy can you have? He's trying to find balance. And he's trying to steer himself out of a bad situation and get himself into calmer waters, and that's not going well for him because the reality is this: the partnership, that allegiance to Trump, has been so tight that he is going to have a very, very hard time pulling away and detaching himself from that. And, everybody knows he's the one who called Trump a kook, and he's the one who said that he would destroy the country. And yeah, guess what? You kissed his butt, and now you get to watch that exact thing happen. But there's very much an energy around him of like a recklessness, of trying to he's floundering energetically. He is just floundering. It doesn't feel anymore like there's any political strategy to this, as much as almost a feeling of just like lashing out, like just whatever he can throw at the wall, whatever might stick. And so that's kind of what's going on with him. And the thing of it is, though, is I don't think he understands that he's really, really aggravating his own party. And, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So, energetically, I just want to see energetically if I can tap into where this is going for him. Okay, well, actually, the words I heard were like ruin. Okay, so wow, that sucks. It definitely feels like he is on a path that he is not going to be able to correct. I see very difficult and hard times ahead for him. I don't get the feeling right now that he's going to be in significant legal peril. I don't know that he's going to get off scot-free, but I also don't think that, you know, like he's going to end up behind bars for 5 years or something. I don't see that happening. It'll be interesting, of course, with the January 6th committee coming back on. And eventually, Georgia's going to be filing its indictments in court. It'll be interesting to see exactly how big a role he played in the whole January 6th situation. So that's what it looks like for him. This is what flew out the death card. All right, let's take a look at Beto and Abbott, shall we? So I don't know what the latest polls are saying in Texas, but Beto certainly, again, seems to have the wind at his back. This stunt that DeSantis pulled, a group of those people were from Texas. Abbott had sent them from Texas to Florida and then off to Martha's Vineyard. And so I don't know, like that. There are some things that went on there that really, really could. It sort of falls under like human trafficking and kidnapping. So that's going to be really interesting to see how this unfolds. But I don't see Abbott, frankly, scoring a whole lot of points. Yes, I'm very aware of the fact that, Texas is quite a red state, but it also feels like Beto O'Rourke seems, like I said, he seems to have the wind at his back. It sort of feels like the no nonsense, um, organized approach, as opposed to the scattershot of trying to just create chaos everywhere, is really, really appealing to the people of Texas. Abbott has failed in so many ways. I mean, the whole electrical grid, and like it, and of course you got Cruz going off last year to Cancun. Like all of it, it's just not. And I really feel as I step into the energy of Texas that while there are a lot of people who still support him, I think that there are many, many more than you would expect who don't, and who are really switching their alliance or allegiance to Beto. So let's just see what that looks like, shall we? Here we go. Okay, here we go. O'Rourke versus Abbott, O'Rourke versus Abbott, O'Rourke versus Abbott. Okay. So we're starting off with the hangman. And that's followed interestingly by the Queen of Cups. So the hangman in this case, this represents Abbott. He has sort of um, done it to himself, okay? He really, really thinks, truly thinks, and believes that he can get away with anything. He can ignore school shootings. He can let the grid fall down. He can, make ridiculous, draconian decisions about women's rights to control their own bodies. And he has really, really put himself in a place where he has pissed off moms. He has pissed off women. And they are not going to put up with it anymore. They're tired of sending their kids to school and worrying that the child is going to get shot and not come home. They are worried about themselves, their siblings, their children, their grandchildren, and these abortion bans that are going on. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, okay? And a lot of these, particularly Southern or old fashioned, really stuck in the mud kind of politicians, neglected to remember that. And that is at their own peril. The reality is this. They were trying to rein in women and rein in control of them, and lordy lordy, that was a mistake. Okay, so it's actually going to be the women and the female vote. And listen, I'm not excluding enlightened men in that. I sort of automatically clump you guys in with women. Um, because you're all moving in the right way and with the light. And there's a lot of men out there who um, who just simply get it on all kinds of levels. So that's what's going to happen to Abbott. Meanwhile, what you've got is you've got Beto O'Rourke working diligently, consistently. He is putting in the time. He is listening to people. He is not afraid to get a little aggressive. Um, he he not only he has the momentum, but he just also has the kind of, I don't know, smarts that people are looking for. They're tired, bone weary of the rhetoric, okay? And frankly, he has a message that is um resonating. It's simply resonating. And this is interesting because you know what? Um, and these are the last two cards. Okay, so you've got the Fool card, and on the one hand, it represents, sort of the traditional meaning of the Fool card, which is, Texans are ready for a new beginning, a new start. They're kind of plugging their nose and going Democrat because they can't handle what's going on with Republicans. There's that. But the other thing this is talking about is Abbott aligned himself too closely with the Fool, who is, as we know, the Donald. And they've had their hearts broken, frankly. They've become disillusioned. They've become heartsick. They don't like sort of, I almost want to say the reputation, if you will, that, Texas is sort of gathering under Abbott in these last few years. They really are kind of tired and they want things to stabilize and settle down. So let's just take a double, quick check. Here we go, pendulum. Okay. Is Abbott going to be reelected as governor in the state of in the state of Texas? Is Abbott going to be reelected as governor in Texas? No. Big no. Pretty serious no. Okay. Is Beto going to assume the office of governor and be sworn in? Yes. And I have to say, in some ways, Beto learned a little bit of a lesson. When he was running, taking a run in that presidential run when Trump was running, and he lost that bid. And if I'm not mistaken, there was talk after that he really should direct his energy to the governorship. And he was sort of like, no, I don't think so. Um, and so he's learned a valuable lesson about sort of taking things one step at a time and acquiring more political savvy, more knowledge, more wisdom. And so I think that he's well placed and well positioned to go forward as governor because I think that um, he has more clarity now, I want to say, than he did in leading up to the 20, what was that, 16 election. Feels like a lifetime ago, I gotta tell you. All right, let's take a look at DeSantis. What is going on with him? Well, we know what's going on with him, right? I mean, he is just so determined to take a presidential run. And I have to tell you, part of what's going on with him, thank you, part of what's going on with him is that he's not focused at all on winning the governorship of Florida. He frankly could care less. All he knows is that he kind of should win it because then that keeps him in the public eye for the 18 months, 18 months, I guess, um, before he then announces his run for president, unless Trump says he's running, and we all know that's not going to happen. But the thing is again, with him, it is strategy, right? He is that politician who is going to follow Trump's sort of blueprint, and that is, red meat, red meat, red meat, throw what the base wants at them because that's where his support is going to come. The problem is that he really hasn't figured out that he's actually losing a tremendous amount of support. And well, apparently the polls say that, he's sort of the best choice under Trump for a presidential run. I don't believe that's actually um, going to work in his favor as things go forward. Okay, so let's just see there. Um, okay, pendulum. DeSantis. At this point, is he more likely than not to be reelected as governor? Is he more likely than not? That's a no. Well, that's kind of, have to tell you, a bit of an unexpected answer. Is Christ, his opponent, um, i- is his campaign gaining the strength he needs to unseat DeSantis? That's a yes. That's interesting. Let's see if we can gain some clarity through the cards. One more question. Is DeSantis likely to be involved in some sort of significant scandal that could influence his standing? That's a yes. Okay, here we go. Let's see what the cards have to say. Tell me about DeSantis. Tell me about DeSantis. Tell me about DeSantis. Okay. All right. So this is the thing for him. He's represented by the lovers. This is about partnerships that he has formed and is forming. This is about his relationship with the RNC. This is about, um, and I know that the RNC is not connected to his um, governorship run, or I don't think they are, but this is more about the partnerships and the people he is positioning himself with. As he tries to go forward, make no mistake, he is all about running for the presidency. He thinks he's like emboldened, right? Every time he does these crazy things, like trying to, go after Disney and, don't say gay and ban books and let's fly on private jets to the tune of, what was it, like $12 million or something? Um, the migrants into, Martha's Vineyard. Let's just do that. But he has enough support for that stuff that um, he's emboldened by it, okay? And he really thinks that, he is on the right road. He wants to emulate, his buddy Trump. He wants that same sort of adulation and loyalty. He's not going to get it. That's the thing. But make no mistake, he has a lot of support right now, a lot, because Republicans see him as more of a mainstream Republican. And frankly, um, the party would sigh a huge sigh of relief if Trump didn't run and he did, and he could be their, presidential nominee. would he actually win that presidency? I'm not so sure, because look what follows him. He has the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands. So there is going to be a lot of turbulence, a lot of bickering, a lot of infighting, a lot of questionable behavior, or people reacting to his behavior in a way that is not going to serve him well. And looky here, here comes the Queen of Cups, who are the women. Okay, and again, it is going to be the enlightened ones. It's going to be the women and their partners, who are going to control the reins of his election. Energetically, I have to tell you, um, it to me, it feels as if he's likely to win the governorship, even though I know what the pendulum just said. It feels to me like he's only going to be in it for a very, very short period of time. And again, he doesn't care that that's another election, and Florida can barely afford what the heck's going on now, because he's spending money left, right, and center. But I'm not sure that, like, energetically, I don't see him getting to the White House. As of right now, that's how it looks to me. Okay, so thank you very, very much for being here. If you would like a personal reading, the information is in that drop box below. I'm currently booking sort of the middle of October at this point. So there's that. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to just send me an email asking for information. Until next time, take care, be well. We'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.